whatever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that, and it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough. I think it's just a life.
It's just the idea of pulling up at a yacht is the end. It's the opposite of what everybody tells you about fighting. Right? Fighting, you have to stay hungry, like stay humble. You know, like Rocky III style.
Yeah,
like you don't pull up in a fucking yacht. And if you do, the only person who's been able to do like that is Floyd Mayweather. He's the only guy who's been able to just be balling out of control, constantly flashing money, $1 million watches, a fleet of super expensive cars. And still fucks everything.
At 49 years old, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is reportedly lining up a packed 2026 schedule with a huge rematch against Manny Pacquiao expected to stream on Netflix. On the surface, it looks like another major moment in his legendary career, one more opportunity to remind the world of his undefeated legacy. But behind the scenes, the whispers are getting louder. Some people are starting to question whether this comeback is really about legacy at all. Instead, they believe it could be about maintaining a lifestyle that requires constant cash flow. For years, Mayweather has built his identity around wealth, success, and dominance. But now, critics are asking a different question. Is this next chapter about proving greatness or simply keeping the money machine running?
Like, Mayweather's broke. I said, no. He's like, no, really. Mayweather's broke. Now, I don't know if it's true.
Right.
This is what this guy told me. I'm like, how could he be broke? He's like, yo, he spends like crazy.
Yeah.
Spends like crazy.
I mean, it only could go but so long. I mean, and you're not fighting.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Mayweather even doing any goofy shit like that.
But you would think that your investments would continue to grow.
Right.
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. So like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever.
Right.
And with my investments, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling my stocks.
Right.
So I assume that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash, and if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
So he doesn't own his own plane?
I don't think so. I've never seen a Mayweather plane, like a Drake plane. I've never seen that. Not to say that he doesn't. I don't know Mayweather like that. I've never even met him. So I don't know. I mean, you have a lot of properties. You have a lot of money you're constantly spending.
Right.
I don't know. Remember at one point he said he was buying like the jewelry district building.
Yeah, and they said
that wasn't true.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know this man's finances, but this guy told me.
Joe Rogan recently spoke about Mayweather's lifestyle on his podcast, and he didn't hold back. Leaning into the microphone, Rogan questioned the math behind Floyd's extreme spending habits. He described a lifestyle that seems almost impossible to sustain long-term. We're talking about someone who buys Bugattis like everyday items and casually shows off briefcases filled with diamond-encrusted watches worth tens of millions. Rogan pointed out that money appears to flow out just as fast as it comes in. Maintaining that level of luxury isn't just expensive. It requires constant, massive income. According to him, the Money Mayweather image isn't just for show. It demands ongoing spending to keep the illusion alive. And eventually, no matter how much you earn, that kind of pressure can start to catch up.
Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He gotta show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that shit. Like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond-crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself, like, draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
They trying to keep up.
Yeah.
Behind the carefully curated Instagram posts full of luxury and success, some reports suggest a very different reality. There have been serious allegations involving financial issues, including claims of defaulted loans, unpaid expenses, and outstanding bills. Some rumors mention hundreds of thousands of dollars owed for private jet fuel, as well as unpaid rent for a luxury apartment in New York. One of the most shocking claims involves a reported $54 million loan with a high interest rate, where Mayweather allegedly used his homes and private jets as collateral. If true, this would suggest that even someone who earned hundreds of millions might still face financial pressure if spending and obligations grow too large. However, it's important to note that many of these claims remain unverified and should be treated with caution.
Pre-sold the fight using my likeness to some company in, I think, Dubai or like the Middle East. This is my understanding of it, for $10 million cash. We ended up doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million. That company that paid him that money is suing him. I actually don't know the status on that lawsuit. I should check in because he still owes me money, but he has a bunch of legal trouble at the moment that I don't think I'm ever getting the money.
He just sold his house in Vegas.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I think he's facing a
rinsed on that house. He started at $14 million. He custom built the house, by the way, in like 2006.
Yeah.
Started at 14, reduced to 12, 10, 8 came on the market, and it was a lot of house for 8. Sold for 6.6.
Oh, he really got
just
rinsed.
The cost to build that house was 9 or 10.
Whoa, he got rinsed.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
It was huge.
Goddamn.
Who would win in a fight, you or 100 grams?
Then there's the ongoing issue of taxes. Dealing with the IRS is something that has come up multiple times in discussions about Mayweather's finances. Imagine earning massive amounts of money, only to face equally massive tax bills. Some reports suggest situations where tens of millions had to be paid, with even more still owed afterward. That kind of financial pressure can be overwhelming for anyone. Even for someone who built a reputation as one of the richest athletes in the world, constant large tax obligations can quickly become a serious burden if not carefully managed over time.
It was supposed to be like Floyd versus Logan on like a helipad or like on the top of the Burj Khalifa or something. It was way back, again, 5 years ago now, but that was like the initial rumblings around that fight. And what Floyd did was use Mayweather Promotions to bring them this fight and say, if you'll front us this money, we'll put this fight here. They fronted him the money. He took the money, had the fight at the Hard Rock in Miami with Fanmio instead. That was the company that put it on. Saw none of that front end 10 mil. And the people that paid Floyd the 10 mil never saw a dime back. It's nasty work what he did. But this has been like one of Floyd's MOs, is that he leverages his fight name or his quote unquote assets, and which is what, a lot of wealthy people do. They leverage their assets to take out bigger loans or, whatever. But Floyd does it in such a reckless way that no one ever sees return on it. He just takes money. It isn't a loan, he's stealing. And so Logan obviously never sees a dime of that. I don't know how Logan got conned into doing something like that, or how he didn't have provisions in place. I've talked about this, ad nauseum over the last couple of years, but the fact that we actually get some details on this from Logan.
Chael Sonnen also entered the debate with a very direct and unapologetic perspective. He questioned why people are even surprised by these rumors. According to Sonnen, one of the biggest secrets in combat sports is that the massive fight earnings we hear about, hundreds of millions or even billions, are often exaggerated for promotion and hype. He claimed that many of these numbers come from promoters and press releases, not verified financial data. Sonnen also pointed out that many fighters, including Mayweather, come from tough backgrounds where financial education isn't always a priority. When someone suddenly earns huge amounts of money without strong financial planning or long-term strategy, the risk of losing it becomes very real. In his view, this isn't shocking. It's something that has happened to many fighters before, and without proper management, it can happen again.
To tease them, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company, who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner. You've never heard Cox. You've never heard DirecTV. You have never heard an executive come out and confirm any of the absurd pay-per-view numbers that you believe to be true. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check?